For decades, one word haunted the Philippines: corruption. It stole billions, delayed progress, and crushed hope. Every election promised change and reform. Yet the same stories repeated again and again. Bribery, kickbacks, fake contracts, and untouchables walking free. But 2025 feels different. Something has shifted. Something unprecedented is happening across the nation. For the first time in a generation, the system itself is fighting back hard. Not just with words, but with arrests. Audits, accountability, and digital investigations are rising. AI-powered audits expose officials once shielded by power. Lifestyle checks reveal mansions beyond legal means. Procurement records are now public and traceable. As evidence piles up, resignations follow quickly. This isn't just another anti-corruption campaign. It's a full-scale cleanup operation in motion. It's reshaping how Filipinos view their government. People who stopped believing in justice are watching again. Live TV and social media show it unfolding. Arrest photos and seized assets trend daily. One message rings loud and clear: no one is above the law anymore. But behind all this noise lies a deeper question. Is this just another wave of politics? Or is it the beginning of national rebirth? Is the Philippines finally breaking the corruption cycle? A cycle that has crippled its promise for generations. If this momentum holds and continues to grow, the country could become a model of reform. To understand how monumental this moment really is, we need to go back to see how corruption became so deeply woven into the nation's history in the first place. The roots of corruption. To understand today's historic crackdown on corruption, we must revisit how the disease took root. The Philippines inherited a colonial patronage system. Loyalty mattered more than merit or integrity. Under Spanish and American rule, connections ruled everything. Land, power, and wealth were granted through favors. After independence, this structure didn't disappear, it evolved. Democracy's weakness replaced its intended strength. Political dynasties passed influence like family property. Cronyism became normal, especially during martial law. Business empires rose through proximity to power. Even cultural values like utang na loob were twisted. Gratitude became manipulation, trust became silence. Officials protected allies despite obvious crimes. Selective justice punished the powerless, shielded the elite. Institutions meant for accountability became complicit. Whistleblowers were punished, not protected. Citizens grew cynical, corruption felt inevitable. But by the 2020s, something began to shift. A new generation, connected and outspoken, pushed back. Their patience had finally run out. That frustration soon ignited something bigger, a digital revolution in accountability. The turning point: public anger and digital accountability. The real revolution didn't start in Congress. It started online, in the hands of citizens. Social media became the court of public opinion. Videos of bribery and leaked documents surfaced daily, not from journalists, but from ordinary Filipinos. Smartphones became tools of truth and exposure. Hashtags like #ExposeTheCorrupt sparked national outrage. Comment wars turned into citizen investigations. Sometimes, they even triggered government action. Politicians found themselves trending for the wrong reasons. Digital whistleblowing platforms enabled anonymous tips. Online communities cross-checked budgets and outcomes. Ghost roads, fake clinics, inflated contracts were exposed. The internet made corruption harder to hide. Public anger became political pressure. Agencies couldn't ignore viral scandals anymore. Walong Forever took on new meaning. No forever for corrupt officials. Accountability arrived. Digital transparency forced real consequences. One post could spark national reform. What once needed journalists and courts now required just one post and a public willing to act. And that growing wave of digital activism would soon push the government to launch the most aggressive anti-corruption campaign in modern Philippine history. The 2025 crackdown. What's happening now? 2025 became the year corruption met its match. A multi-agency task force was formed. Ombudsman, COA, DOJ, and NBI united digitally. Their mandate: trace, expose, and prosecute. No exceptions. AI-driven analytics track financial flows and assets. Blockchain auditing leaves no transaction unrecorded. Dozens of high-ranking officials have been arrested. Mayors, customs directors, procurement heads, all exposed. Corruption hotspots like customs and healthcare are targeted. Billions in misused funds have been recovered. Money is redirected to education and social aid. Encrypted apps allow anonymous tips and raids. Weekly audits send shockwaves through government offices. If you steal, your phone, bank, and house will betray you. Public sentiment is shifting rapidly. Citizens report anomalies and celebrate justice. Government workers now think twice before signing deals. This isn't cosmetic reform, it's systemic change. Transparency is working at scale for the first time. And at the center of this transformation is a new breed of leaders. Reformers who grew up in the digital age and refuse to play by the old rules. The new generation of reformers. This movement isn't just about new laws. It's about new people leading the charge. Young, reform-minded officials and activists are rising. They're data-driven, transparent, and fearless. They grew up online, where lies unravel fast. Many came from private sectors and journalism, not from political dynasties or old networks. Female leadership plays a critical role. Women-led offices prioritize accountability over alliances. Youth representatives bring innovation and moral courage. Civil society and journalists now collaborate with watchdogs. AI investigators and legal volunteers work together. Government communication has changed its tone. No vague promises, just dashboards and updates. Public sees real-time progress and case tracking. This generation doesn't just punish corruption. They redesign systems to prevent it entirely. But of course, the old power networks aren't going down without a fight. The pushback, old guards versus new order. As reforms gain traction, resistance intensifies. Old political dynasties fight to retain control. Legal loopholes and smear campaigns resurface. Investigations are delayed through technicalities and obstruction. Some media twist narratives to protect allies. Whistleblowers face threats and online harassment. Some are forced into hiding for safety. But fear no longer silences the public. Every suppression attempt now backfires online. Screenshots and documents flood the internet. Once exposed, information can't be buried again. The internet is both shield and sword. Transparency becomes protection for reformers. If everyone knows, no one can hide. As one whistleblower said, they used to control the system. Now, the system records everything they do. Old networks remain powerful, but secrecy is gone. And the reason they can no longer hide is simple. Technology has changed the rules forever. Technology and transparency, the digital weapon. For decades, corruption thrived in the shadows, hidden in paperwork, cash, and opaque systems. Today, technology is the Philippines' strongest weapon. Every peso spent is digitized and traceable. Blockchain ensures tamper-proof, transparent fund movement. No more ghost projects or padded contracts. AI scans budget and procurement data in real time. It flags suspicious patterns and inflated costs instantly. Electronic tax systems reduce manual cash handling. Digital payments close bribery and diversion channels. Public data portals empower citizen watchdogs. Filipinos can track national and local spending. School repairs, road projects, hospital equipment, all visible. COA reports are now accessible online. Open audits replace secretive investigations. Paper-driven mazes now run on code and data. The result? Fewer places to hide. Greater pressure for honesty and accountability. But beyond systems and software, this crackdown isn't just about technology. It's about restoring the nation's moral and political dignity. Why this crackdown matters? Corruption isn't just moral failure, it's economic disaster. Every stolen peso means a child without education, a hospital without medicine, a farmer without irrigation. This anti-corruption drive is historically important. It's about reclaiming the nation's stolen future. Transparency boosts global investor confidence. Foreign capital returns with renewed optimism. Credit ratings stabilize, business climate improves. Honest governance leads to infrastructure and jobs. Small businesses compete fairly for the first time. Merit replaces connections as currency of opportunity. Middle class regains faith in government systems. Filipinos rediscover moral confidence and civic pride. Integrity becomes aspirational, not just idealistic. Clean governance becomes part of national identity. Yet punishing corruption alone isn't enough. The next phase is transforming how Filipinos think, behave, and hold power accountable. The culture shift, from fear to accountability. True reform means changing behavior and mindset. Fear once silenced whistleblowers across the country. Speaking up risked jobs, safety, and lives. Now, whistleblower laws ensure anonymity and protection. Some even receive financial rewards for truth. Officials undergo ethics and transparency training regularly. Agencies adopt integrity scorecards to track compliance. Schools teach civic duty and moral leadership. Future generations learn accountability from the start. Citizens shift from complaining to taking action. They vote for reformers and volunteer for change. Honest public servants are celebrated nationwide. Media and civil society report boldly and freely. Digital proof backs every claim and investigation. Casual bribes and fixer culture are publicly shamed. Corruption becomes embarrassing, not normalized anymore. This cultural awakening is the real revolution, and the world is taking notice. The Philippines' internal reforms are reshaping how its neighbors view governance in Southeast Asia. Regional impact and global recognition. The world is watching the Philippines' transformation. Transparency rankings show significant improvement. World Bank and IMF praise digital governance reforms. They call it a regional model for ASEAN. Indonesia and Malaysia send delegations to learn. Blockchain auditing and e-governance are being replicated. Foreign investors return with confidence and capital. Infrastructure, tech, and manufacturing funds flow in. Stability replaces chaos in the global narrative. The Philippines becomes a governance innovator, not just a labor exporter anymore. Even overseas Filipinos feel renewed pride. Remittances reflect confidence, not just obligation. Yet every great transformation faces tests. The next challenge is ensuring this wave doesn't fade, that it survives politics, fatigue, and resistance. Challenges ahead. The road to integrity is long and full of traps. The biggest threat is political discontinuity and reversal. New administrations may undo hard-won reforms quickly. Vested interests often resurface through elections and appointments. Reform fatigue is another dangerous possibility. Citizens exposed to endless scandals may grow numb. If public pressure fades, corruption can quietly return. Old power networks are already plotting comebacks. They use media manipulation and misinformation campaigns. They exploit legal loopholes to stall investigations. Some reformers face smear tactics and character attacks. Journalists and whistleblowers still endure harassment and threats. They need protection, solidarity, and legal support. Digital monitoring must balance transparency and privacy. Surveillance should never replace accountability or trust. Technology must serve justice, not control. The fight is not against individuals alone. It's against systems designed to hide the truth. Systems that reward silence and punish honesty. Reformers must stay vigilant and united in purpose. Civil society must continue pushing for transparency. Citizens must keep demanding clean governance. The momentum must survive beyond headlines and elections. Because if these hurdles are overcome with resolve, the Philippines could achieve something extraordinary and lasting. A government that truly serves its people, not just in words, but in action and integrity. 2030 Vision, a new Philippines. Imagine the Philippines in 2030, radically transformed. Governance runs on data, not favors or secrets. Bureaucracy is digital, efficient, and citizen-centered. Public services are delivered online with transparency. Permits, benefits, and budgets are traceable in real time. AI detects fraud before it escalates or spreads. Government databases are interoperable and secure. Civil society startups build tools for accountability. Young Filipinos create apps to monitor city budgets. Election spending is tracked and publicly reported. Crowdsourced platforms expose misuse and demand answers. Every transaction leaves a digital footprint. Every decision leaves a public record. Every leader faces scrutiny and civic feedback. Integrity becomes the national standard, not the exception. Overseas Filipinos invest with pride and confidence. Youth dream of public service careers again. The world sees reform not as theory, but proof. This is the ultimate victory for the nation. Not just political or economic, but moral. The Philippines becomes a model of renewal. A country once plagued by corruption now leads reform. A place where justice is proactive, not reactive. Where dignity is built into every system. The Great Cleanup isn't just about catching thieves. It's about rebuilding trust, pride, and belief in what the Philippines can truly become. Lessons from the crackdown. Every national transformation begins with individuals who refuse silence. The Philippine anti-corruption drive proved courage is contagious. When citizens speak up, the system begins to shift. Journalists report truth. Public servants reject bribes. Reform is born not in institutions, but conscience. The power of example has become undeniable. Leadership sets the tone from the very top. When leaders declare assets and stay accountable, they send a message across every government level. Honesty becomes the expectation, not the exception. Transparency is no longer a campaign slogan. It's becoming a daily practice in governance. Public dashboards, digital audits, and open reports matter. They show that accountability is no longer optional. True reform isn't just catching the corrupt. It's preventing corruption before it even begins. It's embedding integrity into the system's design. Accountability must be instinctive, part of national DNA. This movement has redefined what justice means. Justice isn't fear of punishment anymore. It's pride in prevention and moral clarity. The Filipino people are rediscovering civic confidence. Integrity is becoming aspirational again, not naive. Clean governance is no longer fantasy, it's reality. This isn't just a political shift, it's cultural. The idea that everyone does it is fading. The idea that we deserve better is rising. And perhaps that's the most powerful outcome of all. A growing belief that justice is possible here, that the Philippines can be governed with dignity, that public service can be honorable again, that the next generation will inherit cleaner systems. This is the legacy reformers are building today. But the lesson goes deeper than policy or politics. It's about the power of collective action. When people believe their voice matters, they begin to demand more from their leaders. They begin to expect honesty, not just hope for it. They begin to protect truth, not just chase it. This is how nations heal, not through fear, but through shared responsibility and moral courage. The Philippines is showing that transformation is possible. Not perfect, not easy, but real and replicable. Which brings us to the final message. What this crackdown truly represents for the Philippines and its people. From corruption plague to reform symbol, the Philippines is rising. It's writing one of Asia's most inspiring comeback stories. What began as a crackdown became a national awakening, a movement blending technology, transparency, and citizen power. Digital reforms made corruption harder to hide. Whistleblowers made it riskier to commit. But people's will made it unstoppable. Millions rejected silence and impunity together. Accountability became culture, integrity became shared mission. For the first time in decades, respect is returning. Investors and ASEAN neighbors are watching with admiration. The Philippines confronts flaws instead of hiding them. Global respect is being rebuilt, and so is pride. This isn't just about cleaning up corruption. It's about rebuilding the Filipino soul from within. Imagine a country where public service is noble, where leaders are proud to be transparent, where citizens expect honesty and demand it. That's the future this movement is building. A Philippines where governance is clean by default, where dignity and data drive decision-making, where the world sees not just potential, but proof. This story isn't finished, it's just beginning. And you, the viewer, are part of it. Your voice, your vote, your vigilance matter. Because democracy isn't just about leaders. It's about the people who hold them accountable. This is your moment to shape the future, to stand for truth, to defend reform, to believe that change is not only possible, but already happening in front of us. Emotional close. The Philippines isn't just cleaning house, it's rebuilding its soul. Do you believe this crackdown can finally end the cycle of corruption? Share your thoughts below, like the video, and subscribe for more deep dives into the Philippines' transformation story.